So we make cell blocks largely for effusion specimens and fine needle aspirates. We don't make cell blocks for other exfoliative specimens, CSF, urine, LBC, etc. And we use cellular concentration method by sedimentation technique, which works very well for effusion specimens, especially without using any adjuvants. So effusion specimens are usually large in quantity and they are turbid, milky, and opalescent in appearance. And sometimes they are hemorrhagic. So if they are hemorrhagic or bloody effusion specimens, we add the Cytolyt or Cyto-rich red to lyse the RBCs. So I'll show you at what step we add these. So Cytolyt and Cyto-rich red are alcohol-based fixatives provided by ThinPrep and SurePath. So I'm going to share a video in which method of preparation of cell block is. I'm going to share. This is preparation of cell block method. As I said, for effusion specimens, they are large in quantity, so we transfer them into a big tube, which is a 50 ml tube. Then centrifuge these tubes at 2000 RPM for 10 minutes to obtain a cell pellet. So if they are turbid or cloudy in appearance from the beginning, we get a good cell button or pellet at the end of the centrifugation. But if not, then we add more fluid in the second time unless we get a big or hand label pellet at the bottom. So this is the cell pellet, which can be seen at the bottom of the tube. And if fluid is hemorrhagic, then after discarding the supernatant, we add Cytolyt or Cyto-rich red to lyse RBCs, and then again spin it to get a pellet, discard the supernatant. So this supernatant is also very rich in nucleic acid if somebody wants to use them. Vortex the sediment, whatever we got, and transfer the sediment into a microcentrifuge tube, which are 1.5 to 2.5 ml. Add 10% formalin. At times we add. FNA samples we directly take into MCT in Cytolyt from the beginning and centrifuge these MCTs at 3000 RPM for 10 minutes. So from here on, both type of specimens are similarly processed. So FNA specimens directly in microcentrifuge tubes, whereas effusion specimens after first spin. Again, a pellet is formed in these small tubes. Discard the supernatant and cut the tip of the tube to get this pellet easily. It can be taken out with something solid like back end of forceps, scalpel, or spatula. And place the cell pellet onto a filter paper. Sometimes they are viscous and mushy in appearance. So nicely wrap them in a filter paper. If they are very small, then put EOS and dye to identify them during the cutting. Put the cassette into 10% formalin jar and process as a surgical specimen or a small biopsy. If the pieces are too crumbled, then put them all together with the help of a forceps and embed it like any other surgical specimen. And superficially trim them and cut them. And take them on a glass slide. After fixation of these slides on hot plate, load these slides in automated stainer. So this is the final end product. We get good cell buttons or pellet at the end of these microcentrifuge tubes. And this is the cell block, which we fix it like a biopsy. So to sum up, in effusion specimens, we first centrifuge them in big tubes. Unless we get a good cell pellet or cell button, we pour another lot of fluid if we don't get a good cell button or cell pellet after first centrifugation. And if they are hemorrhagic, then we add Cytolyt or Cyto-rich red to lyse RBCs second time during the second centrifugation step. And then we transfer everything into these MCTs And FNA specimens, as I said, we get it from the beginning in MCTs and Cytolyt filled microcentrifuge tubes. We spin them and then get this final product. So we get very good effusion cell blocks. This is a pleural effusion cell block. These are direct smears made from those sediments. And they show cells and clusters and fragments of adenocarcinoma. And these effusion cell blocks, they are good for diagnostic as well as predictive immunohistochemistry, for that matter, molecular and cytogenetic testing as well, because they are purely formalin fixed. This is an ascitic fluid cell block where we can see almost all tumor cells. This is precellular, and these are positive for CD20 diffusely and strongly. This is a case of diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. These are cell blocks from FNA aspirates. This is one of the EBUS dBNA cell blocks, which is showing fragments of adenocarcinoma, lung adenocarcinoma, which is positive for ALK-IHC. So in FNA, especially in thoracic FNA, we are also heavily dependent on needle core clots. So after the procedure, whatever clot is present in the needle core, we process them as cell block. So we get a really nice diagnostic specimen. They are really enriched in tumor specimens, tumor samples, or other diagnostic specimens. Coming to the Cytolyt, as I said, we take FNA specimens in Cytolyt. That's the alcohol-based fixative. And people have described problems with Cytolyt fixation in terms of immunohistochemistry. Some clones of Ki67, for example, LIV1 poses problem. PDL1 especially gives problem if specimen is prefixed alcohol. But it is not always the problem, because if you technically validate it or revalidate it with FFP gold standard specimens, it can be doable. It's not a major problem. So we have not systematically analyzed our FNA cell blocks with